Let the kids work? Walk the line of breaking child labor laws? Fine. Posted by Chibi T. A bit of background. So a few years ago, when I was in my second year of college, I got a job at a well-known beauty supply store. A red flag at first was that my manager, let's call her C, didn't give me my hourly wage until my first day and I came in to sign the onboarding paperwork. But college is expensive, and I got my first apartment at that time, so a job was a job. One day, I come into my afternoon shift, and I see two kids putting out stock from boxes onto the shelves. One was about 10, and the other maybe like 6 or 7. I was very confused, so I walked to the back room to clock in, and I asked my coworker what was up with the kids. And she told me they're her grandkids. Still a little confused, I shrugged it off until C came back from her lunch break and I decided to ask her what to do about the kids because they were kind of in the way and we had quite a few planograms to do. Now they're essentially the shifting of shelves and the products on the shelves to make room for new products or removing old ones that the company will no longer sell. C then decided to tell me that she is watching them today and decided that, well, since it was stock day, that she was going to get them to help and give them like $10 each at the end of her shift. She usually opened and left a couple hours before close, so that was close to about an 8 to 5 kind of hours, meaning these kids have been doing this for a while and just for $10. Now, our merchandise wasn't heavy, except for like 3 to 4 different gallon-sized bottles of shampoo and conditioner that we kept for salons. But it just didn't sit right with me that this woman was basically employing her underage grandkids to do work for her in this store. And there's quite a few chemicals that we handled that would sometimes come spilled in the box, and if we didn't handle them with gloves, we could risk burning ourselves. I know because I made the mistake my second week there and burned my hand a bit with an unknown combination of bleach, toner, and something else in a mishandled box of assorted hair products and bottles. But I digress. So yeah, breaking the law and whatnot. So I tell her, and this is roughly how the convo went. I said, "Hey, so this is pretty wrong, and I don't feel comfortable working alongside these children. If they get hurt or injured by one of the shelves or a spilled chemical product, then we can all be held liable." That sounded reasonable to a 19-year-old me, right? Wrong. C said, "I don't appreciate the back talk, young lady. Those are my grandchildren, and I do with them what I please. Not to mention, I am the manager here, not you. So get started on those planograms. The pictures are due in 2 days." Me, still advocating for her to do the right thing, said, "I just don't think that it's right that you're paying them essentially to do this dangerous job. It goes against child labor laws, and I don't think I can get my work done around them." The store was so small that there was only one short wall or shelf in the middle of the store that's splitting it in half, so there's not much wiggle room to do planogram stuff with kids and customers in the way. C said, "I'm not repeating myself, Chibi T. Mind your business and do as you're told. I won't repeat myself." I have a split second to think about what I'll do next before she walks away. I never cared about getting on her bad side because I never did anything wrong. She just never liked me for some reason. So I decided to say, hey, wait, can you email me your directions for how to maneuver around the kids? I want to make sure that so-and-so, the next shift coworker who's coming in about 30 minutes, knows what to do in case I'm in like the back or something. C rolls her eyes, already annoyed with me an hour into my shift, and says, "Whatever." 20 minutes later, I get an email in my inbox. Nothing but the subject in all caps. "My grandkids will be working stock while everyone else does the new planograms. I gave the kids $10 to help in the store and have lunch in the fridge." And that's verbatim with a quick search in my email. She basically typed her own career grave with that one. So my little plan slowly comes into effect. I decide that I'm going to email that exact thing to the coworker who came in, even though we already verbally filled her in. But oops, I accidentally CC'd the district manager, who happens to be C's direct boss. In the meantime, I do as I'm told. I finish up what I can of the planograms for that day, and then on to the next day. C has her grandkids in again. Same old set of directions. I have her send me an email feigning stupidity so I can send it to the next shift worker and accidentally CC the district manager again. 2 weeks go by and it happens just one more time. I eventually get a call from an unknown number on a day off, and hooray, it's the district manager. Let's call him Dave. And he says, "Hey, Chippy T, this is Dave calling from our district office. I was getting back to you on this email I was CC'd in a few weeks ago that you sent me. What's this about grandkids and $10? I explain everything to him. And of course, with the emails as proof, there's no deniability. He says if there is anything else that I find to please let him know. And then he tells me that he will forward all of this to head of HR and they will begin the investigation. I'm feeling quite satisfied and continue work as though the phone call never happened, and she eventually did stop bringing her grandkids by, but not before the investigation was rumored to have started. A month and a half passed by, and I put in my 2 weeks notice because I found a better job and I hated it there. She tried to fire me, but it didn't work out, and I came back the same day that she fired me, story for another day, and I get a call from Dave again, and he tells me that they finished their investigation and found her conspiring to break child labor laws or something like that, and that she will be removed from her position, but also found in their investigation that all 5 stores in the district got a complete clean out of every level employee in the store because they found many of them were falsifying the rewards points, essentially inputting their own phone numbers instead of the customer ones so they could get more discounts. Sit and look pretty instead of doing actual work? Okay, posted by DC 1920. For the sake of clarity, I'm going to say that I work in an industry which is similar to warehousing. Same logic in the grand scheme of things. In my branch and several surrounding branches, there are only 2 staff members to keep the place running, so we all have casual uniforms. Just a polo shirt and appropriate pants and footwear. I mainly do administration work and have a team member who works in the back end of things, but I'm capable and willing to jump outside when required of me. Examples of me needing to do work in the back would be if we have a huge rush, or if I need to send my teammate to help at another branch, or out on the road to collect stock and I have to fill in for him while he's gone. It's a pretty good setup because working outside really breaks up the monotony of being stuck at a desk all day, and it's easy enough to do both parts of the job when I need to. Some genius in head office decided he wanted to change the uniform for any and all admin staff to something a little more corporate and dressy. I can only describe this uniform as a 3-piece suit made with the heaviest fabrics known to man. Suddenly, I've gone from wearing a polo shirt, which is comfortable, to wearing a white long-sleeve business shirt with a vest, jacket, and neckerchief, complete with a skirt, stockings, and a slight heel. I straight up look like a flight attendant working in an industrial warehouse, and I can barely lift my arms high enough to hold my steering wheel on the drive to work. It was a poorly designed uniform, and I was so incredibly uncomfortable wearing it. I was very quick to voice my anger. I first mentioned how it's unfair, borderline cruel, to expect staff to wear such a thick and layered uniform when we live in Australia, particularly in a place known for our consistent high temperatures and harsh sun. I then asked how I would be expected to leave the desk to operate machinery and to do heavy lifting in a suit, skirt, and heels. I was met with the promise that anyone working in admin and wearing a corporate uniform would not have to leave their desk to do any back-end work at all. I raised another concern, stating that we did not have enough staff for them to make this particular promise and still maintain our quality of work and hit our deadlines, and I was met with a strong guarantee that I would not have to do any physical work in my day-to-day operations. I was all but ordered to sit at the desk to look appealing for clients and never move from there. Okay then, no problem. From that point onwards, I followed their instructions. I never left my desk. There would suddenly be long wait times for orders and fulfillments because my team member was on the road on a job and there was no one on site to continue his work until he got back. If my team member called in sick, I would spend the day pushing back deadlines with clients, which affected our targets and our reputation. Funnily enough, my teammate only started getting sick because I had to have the office air conditioner on freezing temperatures so I wouldn't get heat stroke at my desk. I was honest with clients who had complaints and explained that I would usually step in to help make sure that their needs were met, but was specifically instructed not to anymore, and then redirected their complaints through to customer service in head office. After a few months of this, I was invited to a meeting with 3 of my direct managers and an HR representative. They were clearly upset about the drop in productivity and amount of the complaints we were receiving. I let them all say their piece before reminding them I raised these concerns to them months ago and was merely following instruction given to me, which was abundantly clear that I was to take care of admin work at my desk and do nothing else. I let them know that my hands were tied, so all I could do was look pretty and placate clients when we inevitably couldn't meet their needs as promised. I suggested hiring more warehousing staff to fill in the gaps left by admin staff who were now chained to their desk by uniform and unable to ease the pressure of the workload like we used to do. I could see that comment definitely hit them right where I wanted it to, and they couldn't argue with me for following their instructions, so I was told they would get back to me on a solution moving forward. Well, here I am at work 2 weeks later, typing this post while wearing my old polo shirt uniform. I was fully prepared to find another job if their solution wasn't reasonable, and maybe I still will look to leave this place, but I'll take the win for now. Some supermarket MC results in a great deal, posted by Galta. So I work at the fish counter at a grocery store, one that's part of a big regional chain. Part of my responsibilities include signing off on deliveries in the morning and then stashing all the fresh fish that I can as rapidly as possible, get them processed, sorted, weighed, and labeled, and out into the fish counter or the prepackaged area. Fish has to be pretty fresh to be safe to sell, so I have a lot of leeway in my duties, or at least I usually do. The whole meat department, the meat and fish counters, plus the packaging areas, are all under one manager, Doris. She's a pretty chill gal and runs a pretty good team. When she's not here, the head employee at each counter is in charge of their general area, and any customer issues or complaints get escalated to the store manager on duty. Anyway, Doris managed to get approved for an extended vacation and had a relative getting married in Canada or something. So she left early last week and won't be back until tomorrow. This isn't a problem. Again, the counters are used to running by themselves on her off days or in the evenings after she goes home, so we can manage a week, no problem. One of the store managers, though, apparently decided that we couldn't possibly manage for a week without some direct leadership. This guy, we'll call him Steve, decided that he needed to hover over us every morning as we worked, making comments on our decisions for how to prep, package, and sell. Fine, whatever, it sucks, but we can deal. Friday he was off, so it was smooth as usual. The problem, though, is that Friday some of the mackerel we got in was off. It happens. I mark it down and just toss it. When Steve came back on Saturday, he was livid. How dare I toss non-expired product on my own volition? I got chewed out and was told that I was expected to process and sell every single fish we received, and that a manager would decide if something was too old to sell. Today, I got my first chance to comply. Hey Steve, every single fish packaged and out for sale, right? I asked, making sure the rest of the meat staff were in earshot. Just get it done, is the reply. Behold my masterpiece. I hope it's still here tomorrow so Doris and Steve and all the other managers can meet to decide if it's too old to sell. And some idiot bought it, so I guess Steve was right. And the example picture is literally 5 cents, a tiny snapper sardine style fish in a container to sell. 5 cents. That's like a penny of a pound. What is this, OP? So the whole idea was that this manager comes in, new hotshot, right? And says, oh, hey, we're going to sell every product. It doesn't matter. We're not letting this affect our numbers. Yeah, everything sells, even the stuff that shouldn't. That's the problem. He says it should. This manager kills me, right? But I just want to note one thing. Why did he come in new and hot, thinking he ran the place? He's a male Karen. That's why. I destroyed my boss, Karen. She'll regret messing with me after this. Click the video on your screen. You don't want to miss this one, and I will see you there.